In today's Statehouse Spotlight, 7 News is on your side, speaking with two Maryland lawmakers. And here for discussions are Delegates Matt Morgan and Tiffany Alston. And thank you both for joining us today. All right, let's start with the budget. 2 weeks to go in the Maryland legislative session. And one thing is certain, the state does have a budget, a $71 million spending plan. It passed. It's on its way to the governor for his signature. And it closes a $1.5 billion budget gap. It also holds the line on taxes and fees. So Delegate Morgan, what's your take? Is this a good budget, and where do you think it comes up short?
Oh, it's an awful budget. Last night it was passed through the House, and I'll tell you this, that if Maryland was its own nation, because of state government, it's behaving like a third world banana republic. Last night the budget was passed with no media, wasn't on the voting agenda even until a short time before it was actually called to the floor for passage. So it's $71 billion. It spends $3 billion more than last year. So if anybody want to take a shot explaining to me how we're spending and sucking in $3 billion more from the private sector from families and people that work, how that increases affordability, I'm really eager to hear that answer.
All right, and Delegate Alston, what do you think of the budget and also how it was pushed through last night?
So thank you. I actually am proud of the budget work that we have done. We closed the gap. We have made some very strategic cuts, and we protected our priorities. We made sure that children who need childcare, we put over $20 million into that program to make sure parents who need to go to work can afford to go to work, because as we all know, things have gotten so much more expensive for everyone. And so we're protecting our priorities in Maryland. We're protecting healthcare. We're protecting our citizens against things that are coming down from the federal government. And look, this was a bipartisan budget. So we had support from both parties in its passage. And last night was a conference report. And what normally happens with conference reports, you can't amend them, you can't change them. There are questions that can be answered, and we did answer questions on those conference reports, and we passed it. And so very proud of the work that we've done with this budget.
And there's some legislation pending, as I understand it, to protect emergency abortions in Maryland, giving Maryland women access to emergency abortions during severe, life-threatening medical complications. So, Delegate Alston, what's your take on this bill?
So this is something that has been law all across the country for years. It's called EMTALA. It's the Emergency Treatment Act. And what this act does is it says if a woman comes into a hospital with life-threatening medical issues where you have to choose between the life of the mother and the life of the fetus, that the hospital is required to provide stabilizing care. And I think that's something that we all expect. No one wants to see anyone die, and hospitals are there to provide that stability. And what this act is going to do is make sure that women who are in those situations can get the care that they need so that they can be stabilized. It also protects conscientious objectors because the hospital has to provide the care, but the individual doctor or nurse, they're not required to do anything that would violate their deeply held religious beliefs.
All right, I want to turn to the partial government shutdown, and it continues, of course, but TSA workers finally are getting paid, and this comes as Governor Moore last week, he authorized another round of payments for the federal shutdown loan program to help Maryland TSA employees. So still no end in sight to the shutdown, but Delegate Morgan, do you think we could see another round of these payments approved?
Yeah, I hope so. We want TSA back to work. I mean, there was long lines outside of BWI. But look, our congressional delegation, which includes 2 Maryland senators that keep voting no, has shut down Homeland Security when we're in the middle of a war. This is a really stupid policy. Myself and the Maryland Freedom Caucus, we're going to drop emergency legislation. There is a provision under TSA that does allow for TSA to pay for private screening, private security. We're hopeful that we'll get some flexibility from our Democratic colleagues and give the governor and the Maryland Aviation Administration some more options to try to alleviate our constituents facing the dysfunction in Washington.
All right, tomorrow, Senate lawmakers, they're expected to discuss a bill that would allow crosswalk cameras in a few counties, and that includes your district, Prince George's County, Delegate Alston. So it's already passed in the House, and so if it does not pass in the Senate, what action do you think Prince George's County would take then, Delegate?
You know, I'm going to encourage my county lawmakers to do what they deem appropriate to keep our kids safe. We lost 2 children walking to school because someone failed to stop at a stop sign. And, you know, we need more crossing guards. We haven't been able to find the money in the budget for that. Cameras are an inexpensive solution that would hopefully offer deterrence. And let's be honest, I hate those speed cameras. I hate all these camera monitoring devices. But I'm not going to stand by idly and watch children be hurt walking to school. And so, if that is the solution that the government thinks is appropriate after debate and discussion, then I'm going to support it.
And Delegate Morgan, are crosswalk cameras coming to St. Mary's County?
I hope not. So, look, I'll piggyback on what Delegate Austin said. Nobody wants to see children getting hurt at crosswalks. But so often this is government using it as an opportunity to just to tax their citizens. So this is to put cameras up there, and the revenue will be going to some other place normally that doesn't have to deal with public safety, normally goes over to the general fund. So it's just a hidden tax on your citizens.
All right, delegates Matt Morgan and Tiffany Alston, thank you once again for joining us on this week's Statehouse Spotlight.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.